Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the media imploding. We're going to talk about lawsuit. The Blackface kid. Do you remember this kid, that Kansas City Chiefs fan?
The one that had his face painted half red, half black, like the colors of the team?
Yes. So Deadspin, or a journalist from Deadspin, accused this kid of wearing blackface and wrote a hit piece on this kid. And now the family of this kid is going to sue Deadspin, which is owned by Geo Media. Geo Media is also the owner of Jezebel.
Well, a bunch of sites that aren't performing and they're running into money issues.
And and they're hurting right now. They're hurting. I don't think they can withstand a lawsuit of this magnitude. Again, we're going to talk about it because this is not the first time something like this has happened. Remember the MAGA hat kid, and it is how you frame things. And if you're caught defaming somebody, especially someone underage, for clicks, then you risk getting sued. And CNN had to pay out millions to the MAGA hat kid. You can Google that. They basically said that this kid was getting in this native's face at some kind of an event or protest, and that's not actually what happened. That was the MAGA hat kid, yeah. That was the MAGA hat kid. This kid had his face painted for his favorite team, and they said he was wearing blackface, and that is clearly not the case. So let's talk about this, and we're going to talk about the media imploding. It's one of my favorite topics. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants. Guys, get a woohoo if you do. Woohoo. Not many woohoos in the media these days. We're also going to talk about later The Messenger, which is a very well-funded...
I never even heard of it.
Well, it was here and gone. It was like 8 months. It lasted like 8 or 9 months.
When can you miss it?
Yeah, but they had millions and millions of dollars to start this website, and they imploded in less than a year, and now their employees are out there on GoFundMe looking to pay the bills, So that's, I'm sorry. Here's the thing. Yeah. You might have to learn the code. I got to bring this up because I thought this is funny. Now, they might not be talking about us. Taylor
really
Lorenz.
Convenient.
I put a video out the other day talking about how to learn to code. Journalists might have to learn to code. They might have to change careers. I did not mean they had to literally learn how to code because, yes, I understand tech is struggling right now. But I meant finding another job. Because
then she comes back with this whole video about why learn to code is outdated advice. And I'm like, why? Because you might have to do it?
Like 5 or 6 hours after I put this video up. And I didn't mention her. I don't even think I mentioned her in it. I don't think I did. I don't think I mentioned her. We're talking
about idiots in journalism, maybe. But
we're talking about people getting laid off and how they would have to retrain. I did not mean like that you would literally have to go get a coding job. What I meant is you might have to do something else. That requires you to actually
listen to what you were saying, and that's not going to happen. Anyway, let's get to the
point. I just said, hey, the point being is if journalists actually were that good at doing a journalism, they would have seen these layoffs coming because this has been going on for like 2 or 3 years now.
Well, hey, as much money as she clearly spends on whitening her teeth, by the way the picture looks, in my opinion, right? I would argue that, she has some kind of money. Anyway.
So here is the original article, and this is from Carron J. Phillips. Is a guy named Carron, who is a Karen. The NFL needs to speak out against the Kansas City Chiefs fan in blackface, native headdress. Well, that caused huge outrage, mostly from normal people getting pissed off.
You mean the majority of people?
Yeah, getting pissed off that Deadspin would target a child.
And they said the parents are even like, which we'll talk about in the article, they even they got the image from like what was on screen and you had to stop it at that one spot.
Freeze it right there, yeah.
Because he said if you watch the whole clip, which isn't very long to begin with, he clearly turns his head that he's got the half red, half black.
Yes. So this was deliberately framed to make this child look like a racist.
You literally tried to target a child.
Right.
I mean, how else can you say it? I mean, that's just the way it looks. It comes across that you're targeting a child.
Yeah. And this is coming from Deadspin. This is the same site that when Geo Media bought them, they were told literally to stick to sports.
Well, they kind of are in a way. Sports adjacent. But if they had just stuck to talking about sports and scores and that instead of interjecting politics, they wouldn't be in this. Stop your political hot takes. Stick to sports. Okay, well, I'll just do both.
Pretty much. So this comes from Outkick. Family of kid accused of blackface sues Deadspin. Last November, Deadspin posted an article falsely framing a 9-year-old kid. I can't
even imagine the stuff this kid's gone through.
A 9-year-old Kansas City Chiefs fan for wearing blackface during an NFL game. The author, Carron J. Phillips, showed only the side of the kid's face painted black, not the full image showing he was wearing red and black face paint in support of the Chiefs. There's the article. There you can see what he was actually wearing. I don't think anybody at the game would have been offended by that.
How many times you go to sporting events, people paint themselves? There's always guys like their shirts are off and they have their bodies painted. I'm like, if you was a team that had blue and white, are you like do you hate Smurfs? I mean, are you a Smurfist? I don't know.
Are you wearing Smurf face?
How dare you?
How dare you wear Smurf face? Yeah, I don't think there was anything wrong with this kid. I mean, whatever.
It was the colors of the team.
And the headdress, like, look, that's a whole nother, that's whatever. Like, I don't think.
But the kids, they said, according to the parents, the kid's Native American, partly Native American.
Yeah, that was like really embarrassing because after the fact, it came out that this kid actually did have.
But they said, yeah.
They claimed he had Native American heritage. So it's kind of whoopsie doopsie. Secondly, the piece claimed the fan hates black people and the Native Americans at the same time. On Monday, the parents of the child, Raul and Shannon Armenta, filed a lawsuit against Deadspin and parent company Geo Media for maliciously and wantonly attacking their son. The family confirmed their legal action to Outkick.
So here's what they're suing for, according to Outkick.
Yes. This is where people really have to watch it with the defamation because if you frame it incorrectly and you cause,
and especially if you can be proven that you did it intentionally.
Maliciously.
Yeah.
Yes. This is how MAGA Hat Kid won, right? This is what the complaint reads. By selectively capturing from the CBS broadcast an image of HA showing only the side of his face with black paint on it, an effort that took laser-focused precision to accomplish, given how quickly the boy appeared on screen, Phillips and Deadspin deliberately omitted half of his face with red paint on. So basically, like, this kid, I'm going to frame this kid for wearing blackface. Let's, the split second that he's turned that way, I'm going to screen cap it.
Beyond that, if he appeared on the screen and, and they said that it's only like part of the time he's on the screen because he probably turns to look and you can see both sides. I don't know. But first of all, if the team thought that it was inappropriate and thought that this kid was doing something wrong, why would they flash him on screen?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they wouldn't. Why would they put the camera on him? You know what I mean?
To point out his bigotry.
Because they were like, oh, look at this little kid. He showed up all decked out for support our team. And they put it up on screen. And then, you know what I mean? Like, if they really thought it was problematic, I don't think they'd be flashing it on screen. But anyway.
The lawsuit states the accusations caused enormous damage to the Armenta family, as detailed below. Death threats, including I'm going to kill HA, which would be the kid, with a wood chipper. Insults, calling him a pussy, a mother effer, and an N-word. Wow. They made Raul a pariah at work, forcing the family to consider moving out of state. They have branded a 9-year-old child with false allegations that will live forever online. HA has already suffered significantly. His test scores and grades have dropped in school. He's shown emotional damage from the onslaught of negative attention.
Okay, this is what's actually in the lawsuit. Okay, this is what the quotes in the lawsuit. And did you catch the sentence above? HA did not wear the costume headdress because he was taught to hate at home. He wore it because he loves the Kansas City Chiefs football team and because he loves his Native American heritage. These are the actual quotes from inside the complaint.
Yeah, so the family blames a race-drenched political agenda for the article's publication, adding that Deadspin and Phillips knew the boy did not wear blackface, but decided to write an article viciously race-baiting their son to generate clicks. That's true. That's how they do it. They've been doing it for years. This is why so many of these news outlets are losing readers. They're losing ad dollars. They're going out of business because...
Yeah, these publications do tend to do that.
Especially the ones owned by Geo Media. It's not just... Deadspin, Kotaku. I am very, very surprised that Kotaku has not been sued by multiple people working in the video game industry for defaming them.
Well, some of them have been sued by people for defamation, before. Like J.K. Rowling, I mean, she was suing for defamation or threatening to sue for defamation for things. And I'm not saying this instance specifically, but it does seem that way. But lots of times you can see where they're just using these things to deliberately try to clickbait. And get people to read it because, they're hate or racist because they know everybody's going to come read it,
Yeah, that's what's going on.
The problem is even that they did it so much as it is that they apparently they knew about it for days and didn't put a correction out, is what they're also claiming.
Yeah,
in this
I mean, the problem. Look, I mean, honestly, the problem is yes, they did it because the problem is these media outlets are looking for things to be outraged about to generate clicks, and they're destroying people's lives. The reason J.K. Rowling threatened defamation, she threatened it against the BBC. Because they go out of their way to defame
Twitter users,
which apparently in the UK you can do that. There was somebody out there calling her a transphobe and all this other, and she's like, I can totally sue you. And according to the UK law, since you're in the UK and I'm in the UK, I can sue you for defamation. So, we're seeing this with Gina Carano, same kind of a thing where it wasn't just that she got fired, it's that the fallout from that. And that's
the way they painted her when they put the statement out.
Yeah, no pun intended, given what we're talking about.
I know, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, abhorrent behavior, she's a terrible person, and it's like they could argue defamation. So here's the recap according to Outkick.com. Deadspin posted the article on November 27th, 2023. The outlet did not update the article and removed the deceptively edited photo until December 7th. That's 11 days in which an article smearing a minor with falsehoods remained on the internet. So they said they do have proof from allegedly from emails that they did know there was an issue.
Yeah.
Deadspin did not take down the photo and add an editor's note until the family threatened legal action. The note claimed the outlet was unaware of the full photo. That proves the fan was not wearing blackface until it received a legal threat. But according to Outkick, that's not true. Outkick sent Deadspin and Phillips the full photo of the boy's face 3 hours after it published the original article on November 27th. Phillips acknowledged our email that day with a now deleted tweet saying, red and black face paint is just as offensive. And if they have that and a timestamp on it, then they're going to be in big trouble.
That will be admissible in court. Even if he took the tweet down, that will be because he's acknowledging that, yeah, okay, well, even if, we've got the full photo, it still is offensive. And they left the damn article up. The story remained as is, claiming the kid wore blackface to an NFL event. The editor's note also stated that the intended focus of the article was on the NFL, not the fan. It doesn't matter. You put a child's face.
No, they say that, but read the next sentence.
That's not true either. Okay, the first paragraph of the article claimed the kid hated both black people and Native Americans. That accusation is firmly directed at the kid and not the NFL. It's also harmful. Yeah, I'm sorry. You defamed this kid. You smeared this kid for clicks to prove a political point, and you're probably going to have to pay for it because there's no whoopsie-doopsie about this.
At this point, like if you knew it was wrong, you could have just been like, oh, we're sorry, and taken it down. I mean, not that it would have made much difference to be fair, because I'm sure damage was done, but you could have. And instead, if you knew and you had a tweet about it out, then you just left it up anyway.
So then, yeah, this is where it gets crazy, though. So in the meantime, the lawsuit says Deadspin threatened to sue the family.
I told you.
Which they threatened, but I don't think they have a case. Deadspin's lawyers threatened the Armenta family with counter-legal action should they attempt to hold Phillips and Deadspin accountable. So basically, if they sue Deadspin said they were going to sue back. I don't know how the hell they think they're going to have a case. The lawsuit continues. Deadspin did not retract the article, and it did not apologize. Rather, it published a series of further updates that not only failed to correct the record, but instead established that Deadspin fully understood the article's highly damaging and defamatory nature while maliciously refusing to back down.
Well, I'm sure there's copies of the tweet and everything.
I'm sure there are records and records and records of this. And there are people that have been covering this a lot more than we have. But I'm like, if you think you can't get sued and lose, look at the MAGA hat kid. That's a prime example. Look at Johnny Depp, you absolutely can.
Hat kid. I remember they got the guy that was in his face on there. Oh, he's a war hero and all this other stuff, getting all kinds of press.
He wasn't.
And then that's true. And then when you saw the actual entire video in its entirety, you saw the whole situation unfold. Then you realized that, oh, this kid didn't do anything. He's just And I even said when we saw it, I'm like, that's something that Squicking would do, where he'd just be like, he wouldn't be smirking, but he'd be like so scared, like I don't know what to do. But you know what I mean? I would.
Yeah, kind of like, what the hell is going on?
I'm smiling like, somebody help me. What's going on, and that's what the kid kind of was doing. And that's why I questioned it immediately. And as a mom and teacher, I see kids act that way. And it's usually when they're cornered. And then when you see the whole video, then you're like, wait a minute, this guy came at the kid. It was the other way around.
Yeah. And, CNN, again, they cleverly clipped it and, made the rounds like, oh, this MAGA hat kid getting in this native's face. And
how about you just stop? And a lot of it's because they want to own like the left or the right politically.
Yeah.
And it seems like more side more than the other.
Oh,
is
yeah.
how it seems. And I'm like, how about you just stop bringing children into it because they're wearing a MAGA hat or because they're wearing this when you don't know about them. You don't know what the kid's heritage is. Obviously, the team itself and the people at the stadium didn't think it was a problem. They put them on screen. There's pictures of the kids with the cheerleaders and stuff. Like, why would they be, you probably did it because it's like, yeah, I love my team. And then like, oh, they're going to love me if I come in and wear this. And then,
Yeah, the kid, can you imagine this kid was probably really excited to go to this game? He's probably
the kid's
super
very
excited
to go to the game.
Yeah, he was super excited to go to this game. And how the hell would you think at 9 years old that this is what was going to happen in your life? Like you go to this game wearing face paint, thinking you're supporting your team, thinking you're not doing anything wrong, and you're smeared all over the internet. And, And
they're like, well, it's black and red because you're against black people and Indian people. I was like, okay, Steelers, Steeler country, go Steelers. You wear black and gold. So you're half blackface and half insulting gold people. I mean, it's just like
gold member is very disappointed in you.
It's like, so I guess there's certain colors you can't use in teens anymore because
C-3PO is crying right now.
It's because they hate people.
Yeah, I know. It's like they were really reaching.
That's funny.
Like they were really reaching on this one, and this feels to me like this guy's just like looking for trouble. And that's the thing with Kotaku too. They went after Troy Levitt, which I still think Troy Levitt, personal opinion, he should sue Kotaku because you can definitely trace him getting gone from Hogwarts Legacy back to Kotaku and Polygon smearing him.
It was most likely a catalyst, but
it was
that's
most
really
likely
hard to prove though.
But in this case,
defamation and things, it's very hard to prove.
But in this case, they were aware they were misrepresenting a child.
Right. If it's true that they were aware and they were told that they were wrong and they still didn't change it and everything else, then it does seem like in this instance, if all the facts were being given are true, it would definitely seem like a case that could move forward.
So I think, what could potentially happen given the financial state of GO Media right now is they could settle with this family and then just shut Deadspin down completely and be like, we can't. Because here's the thing, these journalists, what they're not understanding when they do this, every time they write something like this, every time they double and triple and quadruple down on their political hot takes, they are gambling with their publication's reputation. They're risking a lawsuit, and they better damn well be sure they got it right, or at least mostly right. But even then, having worked as a newspaper editor, as long as you publish a retraction, like, hey, we got this wrong, we're going to publish a retraction. They had 11 days to fix it.
They apparently, according to this article, and that they have allegedly have the proof of, it was within hours that they were notified.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They had 11 days, in 11 days time, after this caused all kinds of outrage on the internet, they didn't do a damn thing to fix it. That means it was willful. In my opinion, it was willful.
There's no way. Okay, if you could even argue for a day or two, you didn't know, even though they could have proof apparently that he did.
Yeah.
But even if you get away with a day or two, by then everybody was covering how it wasn't true. At that point, you had to be like, oh shit, and do something, but you still didn't. It's like you're like deliberately setting yourself up. And Geo Media, they're already having trouble and people are striking and all that around different groups of Geo Media. What if the whole damn thing gets shut down because of these lawsuits because you were stupid? Now you just cost all your friends their jobs too.
That could potentially happen. I think in some cases, that's what I'm saying. I think in some cases, it makes more sense for the business owner to just shut the damn thing down than to risk getting sued every month because you dumbasses can't keep your mouths shut.
And it wouldn't just be the reporter. It would be like the editor.
Yeah.
It would be like there'd be a
who
chain
let
of
this
command
go up
that would see this go through.
Yeah,
no one checked it.
Yeah, it's not like this is just a personal blog or something. There were multiple people. And these are unionized, a lot of them unionized writers. There are multiple people that would have had their hands on this article or at least been aware of it, and nobody did anything. So they're all complicit in letting this thing sit out there for 11 days while this kid's life gets destroyed. So this Carron, a literal Carron, can get fist bumps on social media. Well, I hope it was worth it. So if you and all your friends lose your jobs, I hope it was worth it to smear this kid. So let's talk about another media outlet imploding the messenger. Now I will tell Geeky in a nutshell what happened.
I didn't even know what it was.
It was a well-funded, supposed to be a news media centrist news media site.
I like the centrist part, but apparently it didn't do well.
It did not.
People only want outrage. That's why they're doing what they're doing with this kid's picture. People only want outrage.
Well, in this case, looking at the financials, they way overspent on staff. They were paying their editor for this new website like almost $1 million a year.
Ooh, why?
Good question. They had $50 million they burnt through in a couple of months.
Just paying people?
Just paying people. They were trying to pull. Okay. They were pulling people away from all the big publications, but
math.
Yeah. Math.
They said reading is fundamental, so is math. If you have so much money, but you're paying more than that, and people you're hiring, it's probably not going to do well. And you have to spread that out over a few years, not just in one. Hiring an editor for almost $1 million a year, really dumb decision.
I
can't even wrap my head around the stupidity.
And they were cutting, really good deals for people. They were trying to pull them from other media sources.
So they pulled them away and then they got rid of them.
They pulled them away and they got rid of them.
$50,000 to cover living expenses for who? People that were getting that. It sounds like the people were getting more than that.
Yeah, so this has come from the Wrap. Ex-Messenger staffers launch. So yeah, they had $50 million. They blew $50 million. Now their staff wants $50,000 to cover their living expenses after mass layoffs. They said on Wednesday, ex-staffers of the Messenger launched a GoFundMe.
These weren't the ones that were getting paid the lot then, I take it.
I think so. I think they were just kind of the grunts.
Otherwise, I'm like, what?
Like if you're getting paid $1 million a year, $50,000 isn't going to go very far.
So I'm like, this has to be the people that weren't the ones getting paid a ridiculous amount. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so they said they've launched this GoFundMe to raise $50,000 for their fellow newly unemployed colleagues. The site, which shut down abruptly last week, was founded by Jimmy Finkelstein and is facing a class action lawsuit by the 270 people. Former staffers. 270 people, former staff. Wait.
I think someone meant to say people, or then they changed it to former staffers and forgot to delete people. I've done that before. I'm not going to mock them.
Well, this isn't done by AI, at least.
I've done it myself.
I know. By 270 former staffers who were laid off without severance. They talk about who was filing it.
Sadly, around here, you get laid off without severance all the time.
Yeah, so they violated the New York Warren Act. So the Warren Act is when you do mass layoffs, and I think it's just a couple states have it, like New York, California.
They don't have it here.
Definitely don't have it here. But New York
and California?
New York and California have
shocker.
It. And New York and California, you have to tell people, you have to give them more notice. I don't think they could afford to keep people on. They had to give them, usually you have to give them, I think it's like a 60-day notice, but I don't think they could afford to keep people for 60 days. So organizers of the GoFundMe account, Jody Serrano and Monica Zarilla, previously tech and entertainment reporters at the Messenger, hope to help those who don't have a safety net for support. So they're raising it for their coworkers, which I think that's actually respectable.
Yeah, I do.
I think that's respectable.
They ran through all that money in a year, not even a year, and they had to go out of business. And then they pull people away, promising them we'd be a centrist alternative, which, I mean, that'd be a good thing normally.
That normally would be a good thing.
And then in less than a year, they ran out of the money.
Yeah, so I actually think that's okay. Serrano and Zarilla stated they will be directly distributing the amount raised equally among staffers via the payment app of their choice. They added, we firmly believe in transparency and will publish a report that includes the number of people that were helped by these donations and proof that they received the funds.
That's good. That's what we're going to do, journalism.
Yeah, without disclosing personal information out of respect for their privacy.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so... wow. Yeah. So they launched with great fanfare in May of 2023 after Finkelstein raised $50 million. Now, so $50 million, and now their staff have to come up with $50,000 just to get these people through.
Read this. So he burned through the amount in less than a year. Ex-employees told the Wrap the site was overstaffed, with many pointing to Finkelstein's decision to rent premium office space in New York City, which was usually 9/10 empty.
Yes. You don't need a fancy office. That was BuzzFeed made this mistake too. So many of these companies make this mistake. Like, so many people can work from home, or you can work from, what I'm saying, a hot desk or something. You do not need, if you're doing a digital media site, you do not need to have this physical location. To laugh because I'm reminded of this incident. So we started out doing stuff, like we did comics. I mean, our first podcast we did was like a comic podcast. We also did a Disney one. Mm-hmm. And our Disney one got new and noteworthy and Apple and a bunch of other stuff. And we were getting a lot of people following it. And I went to a convention and they were doing a podcast panel. And I go to panels because you never know. Even if you think you know everything, there's stuff you can learn if you go to these panels.
And these people have been doing it supposedly for a while, and I went. And there's all these people, and they're bragging about all this equipment, what mics they use, and all this expensive stuff. And then when you look into them, they weren't even getting views.
Yeah.
And that's what it kind of reminds me of. It's all like window dressing, and it's like, fake it till you make it kind of mentality. And they're spending all this money on stuff, but that doesn't equate to people listening to you. And that's just it. He spent all this money in office to appear to be successful when they could have just used the money to actually be successful, or to create content and get the word out so people knew about the site. And he just,
Nobody wants to grow things organically anymore. I think it was all about bluster, and then he could have investors come in.
Promote.
Yeah, you could have used all that money. You could have used it to boost your site traffic or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could
promote it so people knew it existed.
And it came and went, and I'm like, I vaguely remember hearing something about it.
All. I'm like, what is it? But to be fair, I cover a lot of things in a week, and I'm usually like, wait, what did I talk about yesterday?
Yeah, I know, but it was here and gone. And right now is probably the worst time to try to start a website given the ad rates.
Yeah, but they started before that happened, which I'm sure played into it.
Well, I probably thought they were going to get venture capital.
But when they closed it down, it hasn't been going on very long with the ad rates. I don't know. It's just weird. But I mean, I do give props to people trying to help their friends and coworkers out that got screwed. Yeah. I don't think $50,000 is that much to ask for that many people.
No. Let's see if they got. They're at 16,000. So.
A day ago. So they might hit the 50.
Here's what's going to happen though. Like in this case, I don't blame these people because they didn't even have a chance to get off the ground.
You don't know what they were promised. If they left, other places to come here, you don't know what they were promised. And the goal was we need a news site that is centrist, that tries to be more middle of the road, because we have all these extremes, and we need someplace that's, more in the middle. And I do agree with that. I just think that people have been trained to look for outrage now because of the media.
Yeah.
And I think the idea was noble. I think the people in charge were full of shit.
I think what's going to happen though, because everybody's so soured on outlets like this, that they're going to look at this and be like, oh, they're journos, let them starve.
That's true.
That's the unfortunate truth. The unfortunate truth is now all journalism has been tainted. All journalism has been stained because of places like Deadspin running stories like this.
Not just these kinds of stories.
These kinds of stories. CNN, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very hard to regain trust once you've lost it. And what's going on is that people are going elsewhere. They're going to podcasts. They're going to YouTube. They're going to Substack newsletters, and they're getting the truth from even people on social media. They're not listening to the media, the mainstream media anymore. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of sympathy. And that's unfortunate, because I don't think that every journalist is bad. I actually, having worked in journalism, I think there are some very good journalists out there. But the trend in the last several years has been outrage. Well,
I think too, like as a consumer of media, if you see something like this come out that they're saying, oh, this kid's racist, we're talking about a child, I think I'd wait to see more before I automatically, go double down on their parents and try to get their family kicked out of town and all that, ride them out on the rail and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I would wait and see when you can see the whole thing in context, because we've seen this before. And with that one kid that turned out to be innocent. And then we saw it before with other kids that looked like they were innocent. And when you play the whole video, they kind of deserve what they got because they did something really bad before the video, but they cut it off before that part to see that they were hitting an old guy or something like that before they got their asses kicked. So context is everything. And then you're better to reserve judgment until you see more in a situation like this one.
Yep. So we'll see. If this goes through, this could be the end of Deadspin.
I don't know. If it was my kid, I'd be doing the same thing these parents.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I would. I'd be like, this kid's life, for now at least, is in shambles because you dragged him public. They're talking about moving out of state. Like, his dad doesn't even know, where he can get a job or whatever, because they're harassing him at work and everything about it. So I'm like...
Well, they put the parents' names and the stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if they put it in the article. Obviously, they didn't have those names, but they've come out since.
Yeah.
So even if you didn't know it was their kid, they came out after, so...
Yeah, I think more people should get sued more often. And that would stop this from happening.
I think that people oversue, but I think there are some instances that won't.
Well, I think you need to send a signal that, like, you can only go so far. Like, this is the line.
Yeah, that's just it, though.
And you don't cross this line.
I think people use lawsuits. They overly use them. Like, you're sued because you used an image you shouldn't have used, but you could have just asked to take it down or something like that. I think when it comes to something like this, though, where it's like completely ruining a child's life or somebody's life, and you ruin people's lives over it, that is completely different. I think that is a valid reason.
So let's wrap this up.
Yes.
Wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.